everybody, thanks for joining me. I know it's been a little bit of time, and this is the Q&A video. Sorry it's a little late. The moment we hit 250 a week ago, I moved like the same day, and I've been unpacking for the past week. And throughout this week, it has been insane. We've blown past that goal. We're at 278, basically almost 300 subscribers already. We just hit 250. It's crazy. I can't believe it. But anyways, without any further ado, this is the video you guys have been waiting for. Let's get right into the Q&A. So to start things off, I've got the questions off to the side. So if you see me looking off to the side, that's what I'm doing. So to start off, Carl Carlson says, hey man, if you're doing a Q&A, please answer me this. Oh, you consider doing an Arkham Knight cosplay. Arkham Knight, I don't think I'll do, mainly just because I don't like the long-eared cowl. If I did anything from the Arkham verse, it would be Arkham Origins. It's more of a mid-eared cowl. I love the design of the suit and just the overall look of it. So if I was to do an Arkham verse Batman, it would be Arkham Origins. Nathan Perez asks, and he's got a couple questions. He said, how much do you spend last year on cosplay? Last year on cosplay, let's see, I did my custom bat suit, I did the Battinson suit, and including all the materials, probably around $1,500 to $1,800. And this question actually kind of ties in with another one that Silver Strike asked, saying, where do you get the funds for these cosplays? Well, the way that I pay for these cosplays is, one, I'm a stay-at-home dad for the most part. My wife has a really good job. I'm not going to say what it is because that's her business. That's not mine to share. But she has a really good job. She makes a lot more money than I ever could with what she does. Therefore, I'm the stay-at-home dad, and she pays most of the bills. When I want to do something for cosplay, she'll help me out with the smaller stuff, but for the bigger items like the Battinson suit and stuff like that, I'll go Uber a couple days in the evenings when she's home and go make money that way, because I make a decent amount of money Ubering to pay for those things. She'll help me restock my supply of foam and stuff like that, something that's not too expensive. For the bigger cosplays and stuff like that, I go Uber and make the money that way so that she doesn't have to spend it on my little hobby. So that's where I get the funds for these cosplays. So going back to Nathan Perez, his next question is, would you recommend buying or DIY? This is a really hard question to answer because I buy and DIY. It really just depends on how fast you're wanting the costume and what your skill set is. Like, if you have the means to do it yourself, by all means do it. I've done a couple. I've made my own Battinson suit. I've made my own Battinson suit, and I've also bought a Battinson suit. I like my Battinson suit. I love the one I bought. Now, sometimes DIY actually turns out to be more expensive than just straight up buying it. So that's also another thing to consider, especially if it's a bigger costume. It'll take a lot more time and money to get the materials and put it together. Whereas you could find something probably within your standards that's more like factory assembly line kind of build for a cheaper price that you could get just as easily. So it really just depends on what you prefer to do for the situation. Like, I've got a Zorro cosplay coming up in spring. I'm buying that for, I think, $80 something from Pro Cosplay, because they have a lot of good quality suits. I've used them plenty of times in the past, and I trust them with this. Whereas if I was to build it, the materials and everything would probably cost me around $200-300. And I've got to get the sword still. I've got one of the cosplay swords for it. I still got to get 2 more. Those are about $50 a piece anyways. So yeah, it would be a lot more to DIY than to outright buy in that situation. Yet later on, there is a certain link that I talked about in this upcoming year's cosplay video. You should go check that out. I'll put a link right here, and it'll be down below in the description as well. But there's a certain version of Link from The Legend of Zelda that I want to do that I can't just buy, because it's not one, it's a fan-made art, so it's not one that's like available to buy online. I'm gonna have to make it myself, and so in that situation, DIY is the way to go, obviously. So that's my answer on that. It really just depends on what you're doing, the time you have available, and your skill set. He also asks, what are the basic skills you need to create your own costumes? I would say the basic skills would be sewing. Foam smithing is a really good skill. It applies to a lot of things when it comes to like armor and stuff like that. Sewing, foam smithing, and the ability to make templates for sewing patterns or the foam smithing. Knowing how to do sanding to even the slightest degree is good. Not necessary, like, it just helps get those lines out of the way once you put things together. And this is all stuff that you could go take like a class for, like at a rec center, or you can just YouTube tutorials. That's how I've learned a lot of what I've learned, is watching tutorials over the past 2 years as I grow and progress. Because I've still got a lot to learn. I've only done this for 2 years. I've still got a lot to learn, and I'm hoping that this channel will be a great way to grow with everyone else by showing everybody, you know, the things that I pick up along the way and passing it on. And I think that this is a great way to do it. So he's got a lot of questions, and this is absolutely what I wanted. I wanted plenty of questions. I love it. So he also says, which materials would you recommend for different parts of a costume? Example, cowl, belt, overall costume, extra details, etc. So what I would recommend for like armored pieces, foam is really good for any kind of armor piece, any kind of like accessory such as weaponry and stuff like that. For a cowl, cowls can be made out of foam. I've done plenty of helmets and stuff out of foam. If you want a more professional feeling one, urethane rubber, but that's a lot more, that's a whole different set of skills. It's a lot more of advanced techniques and stuff. For a belt, I'd go with leather and cloth, or just leather all the way around if you're good at working with leather. Cloth works as well. You can order a good belt off of Amazon for like a base strap, and then make cloth pouches or leather pouches that you can attach to it, and either have button snaps to close them up or magnets, something like that, Velcro on those, anything like that. For the base layer of the costume, I prefer like a fabric base. You can use, the battens that I used, I just used a shirt, I cut the back open, installed a zipper, and then that way you throw it on like a reverse jacket. But yeah, just cloth for the bodysuit. If you really want like a pleather or spandex kind of thing, that works too. You can get all these things at like a Jones Fabric or a Hobby Lobby, something like that. Anywhere that sells that kind of thing, like craft supplies, you can get it there. So the next person that asked a question is Shadow the Hedgehog. So he asked a very good question. He said, if you were a hero, you can have any superpower, what would it be, and also what is your weakness? And it can be anything. So for a serious superpower, I'd say teleportation, in the sense of, because I'm not a person that likes to be overpowered with things. So I would say teleportation in the sense of you can teleport to anything you see. And that would also be the weakness. If you can't see, or you're like thrown into blindfolded, something like that, you can't teleport because you can't see where you're going. So that would be the power and the weakness kind of hand in hand. For a stupid superpower, and this is a question I've asked my friends and stuff for years, is if you could have a stupid superpower, what would it be? And my answer is always just, if you can shoot any weapon, but you have to make the dumb sound effects. So if you do like finger guns, you have to make the pew pew pews. You know, rocket, you make the noise. Machine gun, you make the noise. Yada yada yada. Because I think that'd be hilarious to see, like the Justice League or the Avengers fighting this big universal threat, and then just some dude over there going pew 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 with his with finger guns. I think that'd be very funny to see. And it's annoying because like I learned like 2 years ago or something like that an anime is out. I don't know what it's called, I haven't looked into it, but that literally is that premise of the protagonist, antagonist, whatever it is, just going around doing the things, making the noises, and people are dying because of it. It's ridiculous. It's just funny. It's funny because like that's what I've always answered with, and now there's an anime where that's the premise of part of the show to some degree. Yeah, that would be what my superpower would be, the teleporting, or if it's a superpower, the make the noise to use whatever gun you wanted to use, whatever weapon you wanted to use. Sheameog Mitra asks, are you going to create videos of making a Batman costume? Yes I am. My Batman 2021 suit that I did make, I plan on having a tutorial video out for it, but before I do that, I'm going to redesign it to update it to be better. And so that will come out at some point this year. It's just going to be a little bit because I'm going to be updating it, redesigning the way it's put together and everything. So I will be doing a tutorial video for that in the future. The same person also asked, do you have a small brother? No, I have a 7-month-old baby boy, and I love him to death. He is the best thing in my life right now. So no, I don't have a small brother. I have a little son. Luke CrossFit asks, how old are you, and do you have Snap? I am 24 years old. I have been, going back to the son thing, I've been with my wife for 6 years. I've been married for 4, and I don't have Snapchat. I don't really see the point in Snapchat, honestly. I do Instagram, I do YouTube, which the Instagram link will be down below, and that's about it. Schnoops, I think that's how you say his name, said, hey dude, I'm wondering if you'd ever do a Joker cosplay, and will you be playing in the Killing Joke fan film with the Cowl Vault? Unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be in the Killing Joke fan film with Cowl Vault. They started working on that before I became friends with Cal Vault. And as for the Joker cosplay, I have done a Joker cosplay before in the past. I will throw a picture up right here. And I've done that, and I did it for the party companies I used to work for. Things like that. I've done for companies in the past that I worked for. That's what I did, was I would do party companies. I'd go dress up as superheroes and everything for all of that, and I loved it. It was really fun. And I stopped when I moved, because I moved across the country a year ago. Yeah, and then, you know, it happened, and we've been stuck in quarantine, so what are you gonna do? Okay, I have a couple of questions. These questions are from Instagram. Black Mountain Pictures asks, how did you get started in cosplay? So the way I got started in cosplay, I started doing it for the companies and everything, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy making people happy, and I really enjoyed making the kids happy and everything like that. It was a lot of fun. And then towards the end of 2019, I had an event from a family member that asked me to do it for them personally, for one of my nephews as Batman, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. And so I didn't own my own bat suit at that point. I had to, and the one that was with the company was being used for a different party at the same time, so I had to kind of make my own. I had like a month to make my own, and I'll throw a picture of what I made right here. I think I did a good job. That was my first time ever doing any kind of foam smithing, any kind of handmade cosplay or anything like that, and I really had a fun time just making it and figuring out the process, and I fell in love with it, and so I've been doing it since then. Really, like a full year, about a year and a couple months is how long I've been making things. So Derek Waldley asks, I think that's how you say his name, he asks, would you ever take cosplay requests? It really depends on, I'm not against it completely, but it really depends on if I have the skill set and capability to do it, because some things are really over the top, some things are doable. I'm still learning, as I've said already. I'm still learning as I go, and I'm growing with the channel and everything, and that's what I hope to show you guys is my experience and my growth building cosplays and in the cosplay community and everything like that, and sharing everything I learn along the way with you. And so if it's something that it's doable for me, I will absolutely consider it, and if it's something that I have the capability to do. If it's not, then I probably won't. It might be something that I take note of and maybe come back to in the future when I think I have that skill set. So don't be afraid to ask me on either through a comment or through Instagram. And I might not always reply to Instagram. I have a lot going on. I don't always see questions and things like that. I try to reply more to the comments on YouTube and everything, because those come up easier as notifications than Instagram at the moment for some reason. And then Hans, and it's a longer name than just Hans. Hans asks, Batman versus Wildcat with no gadgets, who wins in a fight? That's an interesting question, because in a pure fist fight, it really depends on the continuity. There's plenty of continuities. I think more often than not there's continuity where Wildcat wins over Batman in pure fist fight, no gadgets or trickery or anything like that. So I'd have to go with Wildcat, but it really just depends on like what version, what continuity you're going with. But overall I'd say Wildcat's won more than lost in that sense. So to end the QnA video, again, we're almost at 300. I might do a small giveaway at 500. I know I'm going to do something in the future. Whenever we hit 1,000, I'm definitely going to do a giveaway. I'm thinking about doing a small giveaway at 500, but just because we're coming up on it so fast, it's insane how much support I've been getting, and I really appreciate it. I want to give something back. So I might do a small giveaway at 500. I haven't decided. I'm definitely doing one at 1,000 whenever that may happen. But the upcoming videos are going to be a couple of suit reviews. I'm going to be updating the Red Hood mask that I did a video on a while ago. I'm going to be adding a backplate to it to make it easier to just like clip on. I'm a big, another little fun fact, I'm a big Godzilla fan, so Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong vs. Godzilla, I don't remember which way it goes. Again, been really busy when the trailer dropped this week, moving and everything. I mean, I still got to unpack everything. As you can see behind me, everything's not unpacked. I got this little display thing up though. Yay. But yeah, so I'm a big Godzilla fan. In the movie, Kong has a battle axe that looks like the blade is made out of one of Godzilla's dorsal fins, the ones that light up when he does his atomic breath. I'm super excited for that. I'm waiting on the materials. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make one of those, because I really want one. So I'm going to make one. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for these upcoming videos and everything. I appreciate all the support. I'm sorry that this took so long again. It's been insane how fast we flew past the goal once we hit it. Within like a week, we're halfway, or we're like 3/4 to 300, however you want to look at it. It's insane. It absolutely blew my mind. I have no words. Just thank you for all the support. Thank you for sticking around. I hope to see you on the next video. Have a nice day. Hey everyone, if you liked that video, please remember to subscribe and click that notification bell down below so you can keep up to date with all my content. And if you want to see what I do outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram at Adamlcosplay. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.